Ooh, we live. We live. What's mother fluffin' G? I know I just threw it the deuces, but what's up, y'all? We back at it again. Got another live stream going. It's your boy King J, aka King Vic, aka Mr. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with y'all. If you listen to my podcast on Spotify, yeah, I know it's on Spotify, but if you listen to my podcast, whether it's on Spotify or Anchor, I call myself King J, but I also call myself King Vic. Don't really matter. But what's good? What's good? Welcome to the live stream. This is just my thoughts, where all I'm really motherfucking gonna talk about is just the shit that's on my brain. It's just my fucking thoughts. I know I got this camera quality, you know what I'm saying? So I know most people won't watch me because of that. They're like, nah, I ain't gonna watch him. He got bum ass camera quality. So I ain't even gonna trip about them. Ooh. See, when I talk like this, I can hear myself in both headphones. When I talk like this, I can only hear myself in one headphone. So I'm probably gonna try to talk like this a lot more. But welcome to the Just My Thoughts live stream. Today, I know I'm talking about age gap relationships. I got my little notepad right here. Look, y'all, look. I'm gonna show you the amount of work I put in today to talk about this subject. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it a little closer. Bam. That was it. That was the work. Just one motherfucking sentence. One fucking sentence. One line that says age gap relationships. That's how much I was like, ooh, I'm gonna talk. You know what? Hold on. Let me take my glasses off because I'm gonna talk about this without the glasses. But okay. Now, age gap relationships. Let's get into that. Let's talk about this now. Okay. Getting ready. All right. Now, age gap relationships to me are not a bad thing. Let me get that out the way first. Oh, ho- hold on, live. Let me. I'm gonna put y'all on hold. Hold on, real fast. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Okay. There we go. I had to get another shirt because it was too fluffing hot. And the fucking sweat top I was wearing, I was getting fucking hot as shit. I was like, I'm not about to be sweating my dick off on this goddamn live stream. Now, as I was saying, age gap relationships. So, are age gap relationships a problem? Not to me. And here's why. Well, it really depends. It really depends because some of them can be as small as 5 years. Dude, female, don't really matter. Be in a relationship, and the dude or the female 5 years older or younger. So that John really don't mean nothing to me. But when I talk mostly about the whole age gap relationship, that good jazz. When I, oh, excuse me. When I think about that, when I think about, the big ones that most people are talking about, you know what I'm saying? Them Johns be like 15, 20, 30, 40 years. So pretty much most people find fault with, let's say, a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, 22-year-old dating somebody who is 40, 41, 42, or older. So those are the age gap relationships that most people are talking about that they don't like. And I really don't give a fuck. Now here's why. And this is just my personal opinion, right? Shit ain't like, oh, you gotta listen to me, do what I say, and believe what I believe. Fuck that. But here's why I don't got a fucking problem with age gap relationships. All right, your boy, I'm 30. Typically, the motherfuckers I would try to hook up with at any point in my life, no matter from younger or if I'm older, I could tell you have generally been older than me, as small as 1 to 2 years and as much as 20 years. So that's one motherfucking reason why I don't care. I've done it. I've done the whole trying to mess around, date, and do whatever with somebody in like 20 years older than me. You know what I'm saying? I've done that. I had to breathe. I was like holding my breath, and I was like, "Damn, Vic, why you holding your breath like that?" So anyway, so I've done the whole, hey, let me date, somebody about 20 something years older than me. So that shit really, 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 really don't bother me. I've never been one of the ones to be like, oh, that's a problem. Why y'all doing that? I'm out here having fun making all these noises on microphone, by the way. But yeah, anywho. So that's never been like, oh, Vic, that's a problem. Like for me, in terms of the whole age gap relationships. But another reason why I don't really find fault in it for anyone who decides to do that, besides me doing it before, is mainly because I like to look at life with, or we give other people chances. You know what I'm saying? So would I find fault? And for example, I can use my personal life. Would I find fault if my siblings, whether it's my sisters or my brother, decided to date someone who, let's go with, 10 years older than them, all right? So my oldest sister between 16, 17 right now. So would I have a problem with her dating somebody who's 26, 27? Well, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't be like, oh, that's what you should do. You should date somebody who's 26, 27 years old. No, I wouldn't do that. To be honest, in order for me to advise that, I would have to know what her goals are in life. What it is that she wants to do and what it is that she has for her future. I wouldn't just be like, oh, you shouldn't do it because that's too old of an age. I understand the concept and the idea of that being, pedophilia, someone who's of the age of 21 and older, or we could go 19 and older, but we'll just say 21 and older, legal drinking age here in the USA. Anybody 21 of years of age and older dating someone 16, I can understand why that could be considered pedophilia for some people, even though all that is 5 years. Because once someone who's 16 turns 21, in those 5 years, that 21-year-old will just be 26. So they'll still be adults. They'll still be dating kind of within their age range, but the biggest difference is someone who's 21 dating someone who's 16. So I can understand why people would advise against that. Kind of like how I understand why most women advise, other women, oh, don't get married young and don't have a baby young. You got life to live. You got all of this and all of that to experience. And it's not that I disagree with that. I just be like, you advise who you advise, how you feel like you should advise them, you know. But depending on the person is gonna be dependent on my advice. So back again, using my family. Oh, and I didn't even bring up my brother in this situation. So my brother decided to date my younger brother decided to date. He's my oldest sister, my oldest younger sister, between 16 and 17. He's like 2 years younger than her. So he's pretty much between 14, 15. So I would, again, I would, everything is dependent on him. You know what I'm saying? And like what he wants to get out of this relationship. Because I can't speak for the other person who is the 5, the 10, the 15 to 20 years of age older than my sibling. So because I don't know them personally, I don't know their intentions. I have to find out my siblings' intentions. You know what I'm saying? I have to be like, okay, I don't want to look at this from a general perspective because I could give you the generalities. You know what I'm saying? People gave me the generalities all the time. I'm black. Come on now. We know I got the generalities, but I would want to give anyone the generalities and the exceptions and like have a conversation based off of that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, in terms of dating someone older than you, younger than you, it really depends on your intent. I find nothing wrong with saying I want to date someone younger than me, 5, 10 years younger than me, so it's easier to mold them. Because at the end of the day, we all have to be molded in terms of long-term relationships or marriage. I'm not one of those type of people who believe you have to be married in order to be in a committed long relationship. But I believe in terms of committed relationship, you're pretty much married. You know what I'm saying? It may not be a legal binding document, but once it's in 2, 3, 4, 5 years of dating, at minimum 2. That's pretty much like a long committed relationship to me. Now again, I know I'm not everybody, so I ain't gonna speak for everybody. I know ain't nobody thinking like me, like nah, we just dating, we just having a long relationship. It's been 2 years, we ain't even married. No, no, no. Look, if you've been with somebody for longer than 2 years and y'all live together, to me, you're married. Y'all can break up at any time because people get divorced at any time. They separate at any time. So it doesn't matter whether you're married by the legalities of the government or y'all are just living together. I would consider that married only mainly because y'all are having relations with one another. Y'all are doing y'all fucking. And if y'all are fucking and being committed to one another, and this is for monogamy, not the whole polyamory type of relationships. Those are a little bit different, but I still do consider that the same. But for those who practice monogamy, I would say y'all pretty much married if y'all are living together longer than a year and been dating or in a committed relationship with one another for longer than 2 years. You see what I'm saying? Because all you're doing, especially if you're living together, is doing what a married couple does without the benefits. You wake up next to one another, you fuck one another, and you might cook, clean, and everything else for one another. So, what do I mean without the benefits? Well, without the benefits would be, oh, if your partner goes to the motherfucking hospital, they know they got to let you in because you're married to them. The whole tax thing because you're married to them. Like, there are different doors that open when you're married legally by the government compared to in the eyes of society just because y'all been together that long. Is. But to me, they're the same. The difference is the legality of the marriage, just like how getting married before God, I would say, if you're a religious person, getting married before God is different than just getting married before the government. You see what I'm saying? Like getting married before God, if you're religious, I feel we'll go with the Christian faith because when I was married before God as a Christian. I would say that's pretty much saying, "Hey, God, I'm gonna work on this marriage. She's gonna work on this marriage. We're both gonna work on this marriage, and we're gonna try to stay faithful to one another and stay true to the values you believe in and work through our marriage together. Now, what does all of that have to do with the age gap? Okay. All of that has to do with the age gap in the sense of, if I am a 20, 21, 22-year old living with someone who I'm having relationships with, whether that's fucking or whatever, and they're 40, 41, 42 years old, blah, 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 and we making it work. Like, we having a good time, having a good relationship, everything like that. Then that's when an age gap relationship can work. And it's like they already married. The only reason why most people, in my opinion, find fault in this, because again, the whole being married thing, they don't want someone who's young to be manipulated by someone who's older who can manipulate them into being molded into a certain person or have certain beliefs or doing certain things when they haven't even experienced the world yet, which I can understand that. I'm not going to take that away. I'm not going to say, oh, that's, idiocracy, because it's not. That's a true thing, because some people are easily manipulated and some people love to manipulate people. So those, because those are realities, you always have to you always have to warn someone of those reality. That's like saying, hey, if you buy a gun, uh always make sure you double check the chamber before you even try to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality is, some people don't double check to make sure there's no bullet in the chamber, and that's how a lot of people have killed themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or killed other people. So if you always lead with the mindset, let me, double check something, or let me make sure, or let me know the worst so that way I could be prepared for it, you can't never feel, oh, I was manipulated. At least I know I can't. I know other people can, but I can't. Like, oh, at least I knew the possibility of them manipulating me. So if I am manipulated, it's my fault. I can't blame nobody. I can't even blame them for doing it to me, because I knew it could happen and I allowed it to happen because I was not prepared for it to happen. So that's why, to me, age gap relationships is one of those things where it's a sticky situation. And it's a sticky situation mainly because you have to really, really, really understand and know if someone's trying to manipulate you and change you, because there's nothing wrong with change. As we get older, we're always going to change. It's wrong to be changed, in my opinion, if it's not a change you would agree with. Like, if it's a change that compromises your morals, your values, and how you want to live your life, if you know what that is at whatever age, and someone wants to change that for you. For example, me, I'm a non-monogamous type of person. So while I currently practice monogamy with my partner, me and him do that, we also entered our relationship understanding, one, we're both bisexual. Two, we both value monogamy and non-monogamy. How can we value both? Well, one, we would like the option. Whether we decide to act on it or not is a choice we make. But we want the option to make that choice. So then that way, if we decide not to, we're still living a monogamous life, even though we have the option of non-monogamy. I know it sounds confusing to people, so I'll say it again. If I decided I wanted some pussy today, wanted to find me a woman who was going to have sex with me, or a man that I wanted to have sex with, doesn't matter. When you're bisexual, you choose either or. Now, preferably for me right now, I can say, because I'm in a relationship with the man, I would prefer my extracurricular activities include getting the viscous innards. I'm gonna steal that word, not really steal it. I'm gonna say it from my guy MTR. That's mediocre tutorial and reviews. I would enjoy the viscous innards of a woman. because I can every day do something with my partner. Me and him can do whatever. So I don't see the need for me to just be like, oh, let me go find another man to be with. I'm with the man. Why not go find me a woman to be with? We're going to be open. Might as well be with something I know I'm not going to get every day. I know I'm not going to see every day. I can't say I'm not going to crave it every day because shit, I'm a man. I crave everything every day. It just depends on my feelings and emotions that day. Most men won't admit that. I'm not that guy. I'm gonna admit that. So, as, as someone who practices a type of relationship like that, it will be it will be very difficult for me to just be like, oh, let me, not be in a relationship like this because I know I would want to look for that. So no matter who I date, no matter what type of age gap, whether it's 10, 15, like I'm 30. I would date someone as young as 21. You know what I'm saying? I would have sex with someone as young as 19. And I would consider 18 as well. But the thing about 18 and 19 is you really got to see those IDs. You really got to double check. Because I remember being 17 and lying to people, telling them I was 18 when my birthday was 6 months away. I wasn't lying about being, you know, 19 or 20. But when I was 18, when I turned 18 officially, I told people, oh, no, I'm 19. Oh, no, I'm 20. You know what I'm saying? I made myself older. Now, when I was stationed in Japan, I never had to make myself older because the drinking age was 20. I was 19 at that time in my life. So I told everybody my age. But as a 30-year-old, I will say youngest I will date is someone 21. And I always say the reason why they have to be 21 is because if I get lazy and I don't want to go and buy myself alcohol, I need my partner to go buy me alcohol. And vice versa. If they get lazy and they don't want to go out and buy alcohol, I need to go buy them alcohol. So 21 is the minimum dating age. And the oldest I would date is 55 to 60 years old right now. Mind you, my mom is 55. My I'm about to say but my stepdad is 60. So you would think I would be like, nah, I can't be with nobody 55 or 60. No, that's not the case for me because I know 55 and 60-year-old mindset. I've always talked to people older than me. So while we may not be the same place in life where they're more, hey, I'm coming down from life because I've lived a long, fulfilling life and I may not have to work as much depending on what they did in their past. Because there are some 55-year-olds who working like they 20 because they made a bunch of bad decisions. But beyond that, there to me, there's no problem with that. Like I've met other 55-year-old men and women who have had no problem with me being, as young as I am. Don't get me wrong, some of them have. And so I'm not upset at that. I'm not mad at that because it's their choice. They choose the life they want to live and they live that life. The reason I choose the life I want to live and live my life is because of the same thing. I have no problem with age. Age is nothing but a number for me, depending, obviously, because I'm not trying to be like no 30-year-old man dating no 16-year-old. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. So let's not even go there. But if I was as a 30-year-old man and I was dating someone 21, that's 19 years. I'm sorry, that's 9 years. Woo, woo, my math was extra off. But if I'm 30 dating somebody who's 21, that's 9 years. I'm not really tripping on dating somebody who's 21. You know what I'm saying? When they were 9, I was mother fluffing, let's see, 18. So obviously that would be fucked up. But I wasn't thinking about them at 9. I didn't start thinking about them till I seen them at 21. And now I'm 30. You see what I'm saying? So I can't I can't fault someone for being 31 or 30 dating a 21 or 20-year-old, because at the end of the day, they met them at that age. That's like I won't fault someone who's 21 who's decided to date someone who's 40 or 50. They didn't meet them when they were underage. They met them of age. So if I at 21, which I wasn't at 21, at 19, but I was, if I at 19 decided, hey, I want to date someone who's 40 years old, knowing that there's a possibility they have a child the same age as me or or 1 or 2 years younger, knowing that they may try to manipulate me, and knowing that I may not be able to have a family if it's a heterosexual relationship and I'm trying to have kids and everything, or if it's a gay relationship, doesn't really matter. But knowing those things, I can't fault myself or anyone who thinks like that for dating someone in their 40s and their 50s, because any big age gap relationship, you are presented with the facts of from jump, like this person is older than me for one, this person could use me for two, what am I getting out of this for three, what are they getting out of this for four, and depending on the person who's older age might depend on how long I get to be with them. And for some people, they might be like, "Oh, I could handle being with somebody for 10 years and 10 years only." So if I'm 20 and I'm dating somebody that's 60 and they die at 70, there was a great 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's how every person goes into relationships thinking, especially age gaps, but that's the reality. But that's how some people think when they get into age gap relationships. Some people think, hey, I'm getting into this because I know it will be short term because of the age. And I would much rather that than deal with someone who is my age. You know what I'm saying? So I can't fault it. But I don't know. I don't think just major age gap relationships are inherently wrong or inherently a problem. And most people do. Like most people feel me as a 30-year-old, I should only date people who are 31, 32, or 29, 28, like within that age group. Like that should be my age group. But don't get me wrong, while my partner's 31 and my partner before that was 31, older than me. Let me go with that. My partner currently is older than me by 1 year. And the one before him, they were older than me by, and I use they because they were non-binary. They were older than me by 1 year, I want to say. And then my ex-wife was younger than me by 2 or 3 years. And that's all the ages I can really remember. I mean, I've had some that's been 10, 15 years older than me and mostly a few years younger. I've always dated older people typically. Most people were 1 or 2 years older. A few of them were 1 or 2 years younger, but most people I dated, I can say, were older than me by a few years. I've always been attracted to older women and older men. That's never been a thing where I've just been like, "Ooh, I want younger women or younger men." Like they're cool and all, and I can fuck with the vibe, but it's never been like, let me go get that young blood. Like if I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you, and I want to be with you. But I mean, I'll be the first to admit I've talked to somebody who was 17 and I told them, nope, I can't do nothing with you until you 17, until you 18. I was like, we can talk as be friends. That's it. I was like, let me see your ID. Seen the ID. The ID said 17. I knew that person's mom. And I knew outright wasn't nothing happened until they turned 18. I was younger. I was in my 20s. So it was okay for me to make that choice because I was in my 20s, my younger 20s, not my mid older 20s. But that's also a choice a lot of people aren't going to make. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to be like, "Oh, let me go talk to this 17-year-old and wait till they're 18." Cuz I didn't wait. I I still was living my life doing what I was doing. I just said, hey, when you 18 and your ID say you 18, then you come talk to me. And all that person wanted was some sexual relations. So I can't even just sit in front that people don't want sexual relations from older people. I did. And so in my younger 20s, I made exceptions. You know what I'm saying? I don't make those exceptions no more now. Cause what I look like trying to be 30 years old, texting somebody 17. Horrible, right? Why would I do that? Not about to do that. But I'll be 30-year-old texting somebody 19. I'll be 30-year-old texting somebody 18. Now I won't take them seriously 100% because I don't know if I'm being lied to. Because again, I lied at 17. But I also go with, okay, I can't believe you're lying because then I'm making assumptions, and I'm not that type of dude who wants to outright make assumptions that somebody lying to me about them being 18. But I do control myself and say, okay, well, if I decide to try to talk to somebody, let them be 19, 20, 21, because at least I know for a fact they're an adult and won't be lying to me like someone who might be 16 or 17 or 18. And that's not to say they all lie. We don't, you know. Not every 16, 17, and 8-year-old gonna lie. The ones I have met in my life, they did it. I did. I lied. But the ones I met did not. They was outright honest from the jump. So I wasn't mad at that. They had better moral character than I did when I was their age, which is why big age gap relationships can work with those who have high moral character. But that's me. That's my opinion on it. That's what I think. But I don't know. Y'all tell me. What do you think? You think age gap relationships work? Do you not think they work? I think it's a case by case basis, and that's one thing you can't generalize on any age based relationship. You can't generalize nothing about it because each one has to be taken case by case. And I ain't talking about the arranged marriages. I ain't talking about even the pedophilia ones where dudes 27 talking to somebody 16. Okay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your basic. Hey, this person is a consenting 21-year-old, decided to date somebody who's 45. I have no problem with that. And I think we should stop having problem with that because most people know what they're doing when they start doing it. They just don't like the repercussions of the actions they chose. But I don't know. Y'all tell me, because those are just my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Bam.